joined with volunteering partners across the county, and together we form a partnership for volunteering, which is under the banner of Community Help Hertfordshire. And you can see who's involved in that partnership from the logos on our slide. We're joined also by some representatives today from some of those organisations: Community Action, Dacorum, Communities First, and Watford and Three Rivers Trust. And we together have helped to plan this event, which is about club and activity helpers. And the reason that we've decided to focus on that today is because we know that so many charities and community groups and clubs really rely on this type of regular volunteering. It's very critical to the way that they plan and organise their activities. And it can be a small or a big commitment depending on the actual role that's involved. So today, a couple of our partners are going to be talking about roles within their own organisations as charities, and we've invited some other organisations to join us today because we want to have a range of different volunteer roles for you to choose from. And I want to stress also that there are many other roles as well as those from the charities here today. So we'll be sharing some links later on, and there'll be plenty of opportunity for you to browse and have a look at similar opportunities. But today we're going to spend most of our time hearing from 5 different organisations. So I would like to welcome everybody here today, and I want to introduce myself too. I'm Emily Butterworth, and I'm the Volunteering Development Lead with Go for Hearts. And I'm going to be introducing the 5 speakers who are here to speak to you very shortly. But first of all, just to tell you what to expect. So today I'm doing this little mini intro, and then we're going to be hearing from Dacorum Mencap. We'll then be hearing from Communities First Creative Cafes, and then First Garden Cities Homes. After that, we're going to hear from Hertfordshire Football Association, and then from Watford and Three Rivers Trust Getting Together Social Clubs. So that's quite a wide range of different organisations from across the county who have lots of different types of volunteer roles for you to get involved in. And finally, we'll just have a quick chat about how you might be able to get involved, a little bit of time, I hope, for questions at the end, and then we'll close. So, time for me to introduce our first speaker. I'm going to stop sharing my slides and hand over to Carol Walls, who is going to speak to us about Dacorum Mencap. Hi, Carol, welcome.
Thank you very much, Emily. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. So Dacorum Mencap, we've been going since 1952. We are affiliated to Royal Mencap. And we support adults with a learning disability in all our activities. We put on a social activity programme for all our members, which are run by a paid activity leader and a band of volunteers, which is where everybody hopefully listening will come in. So to be a volunteer with Dacorum Mencap, we don't ask for any specific hours. You don't particularly need any special qualifications either. Just to have a couple of hours a week to spare. And if you enjoy being with people who want to have fun, then we are definitely for you. So it's all about having fun at our activities. All our members are adults with learning disabilities, as I've said, and our vision at Dacorum Mencap is that our adults with a learning disability are listened to, included and valued equally. So all our activities, that's what we follow in all our activities. So to become a volunteer, everybody has an enhanced DBS, which we sort out. We do ask for references for those people. Travel expenses are all paid by us. And as I say, the hours are flexible as to what people are available for. There's no set hours at all. And it's all about being social and having fun. So I think our members get loads out of our activities, as do our volunteers as well. And everybody is equally as valuable at our charity. And that's about all I've really got to say, Emily. Have I kept within the time limit?
You've kept very well within the time limit, Carol. Yeah, wonderful. Do you want to say a little bit more about what volunteers typically do, the range of different activities that volunteers might typically do when they're when they're with you?
Yeah, of course. So we put on a monthly activity program. So we run about 30 activities every month. They take place during the day and in the evening. They take place within Hemel and Berkhamsted and Tring. Um, so a variety of areas, and they can take place during the day. They're typically about 2 hours long. So it could be maybe you're going to the pub for an afternoon games afternoon, playing pool, playing Uno, playing darts. It might be we're going off to play bowling on a minibus trip. We have craft evenings. We go out on canal boats. We have day trips to the seaside. We go kite flying, obviously weather dependent. So a whole range, whatever our members really want to do, we try and put that on the programme for them. So it's given them experiences that maybe you or I take for granted that they can't access without members of staff in a safe environment. So that's what we do. So we always need volunteers to come and help us at those activities, depending on what people have available.
It sounds actually really a lot of fun, I have to say.
It is absolutely great fun. So if I ever need to get out of the office, then I just attend an activity because it has a real good feeling about going.
Oh, brilliant. And is it important that people can come every week or every session? How does it work with flexibility?
All we ask is that people give us their availability. Obviously, things happen, people have to cancel, that's absolutely fine. But if people want to volunteer once a month, then that's fine. If people want to volunteer once a week, twice a week, whatever people's availabilities are really, because it's got to suit them.
Yeah.
But I think once you come to our activities, as Leanne hopefully will vouch for, our members are really good fun and are really good to be around and very positive, and it's just a good feeling.
Yeah, it's really good fun. And one year on my birthday, they all sang me happy birthday, which was so sweet.
Oh, that's
I know,
lovely.
but yeah, it's just lively and the atmosphere is jovial and fun, and they're playing games, as Carol said. So yeah, it's something to experience.
Oh, it sounds amazing. And so would you say, I mean, I know you mentioned, there's a little bit of process in getting involved. It's not something you necessarily start immediately. There is a little bit of induction and checks and so on necessary. But would you say to people, give it a go, if they're not sure, come along and give it a go?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we would say is we do have to have an application form because we do need some information on these people that are coming. We need to make sure everybody is safe that come within our charity. And then come and have a chat. Come and have a chat and we'll have that conversation about volunteering and see if it's for you. And of course, we can get people coming to an activity to try it out if they want to meet some of our members and see what we're all about. So, yeah. Get in contact. I'm sure Emily will give me my email details. So
yeah, we'll be sharing
or onto our website.
Yeah, we'll be sharing some links in the chat for people who are joining us live, and we'll also be we'll be putting the recording of the fair on YouTube, and we'll be sharing some links there as well. So yeah, if anybody wants to get in touch with Carol and Dacorum Mencap, we'll make sure that you're pointed in the right direction. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Carol. That was brilliant. Great start. And we're now going to move on to speak to Jeremy from Communities First, and he's going to talk to us about their creative cafes and about the opportunity to get involved as a volunteer in the creative cafes. Thanks, Jeremy.
I think I'm unmuted. Can you see my screen? Yep, perfect. Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Jeremy from Communities First. I'm the volunteer facilitator. So my main role is to help organisations and communities first to recruit volunteers. I want to talk a little bit about one of the roles that we have on offer. So it's our creative cafe volunteer role. So what that is in Hertfordshire we run 6 different creative cafes, and these are ran out of our community centres. So in our community centres, we have various activities going on. So they're open 1 day a week for each role, each centre, sorry. So for 4 hours on a Monday, it will be one community centre, then Tuesday, a different one. And it's all around helping people with who might be in social isolation, or they want to just get out of the house, a place to socialize. And we're looking for volunteers who would be able to kind of help set up, speak to these people, help them with their arts and crafts. There's a wide range of activities that go on in these creative cafes. So sometimes we've got people playing board games, people doing arts and crafts, people knitting. In some of them, we have more sports focus. So we've got an actual bowls pitch in one of our community cafes. So people play bowls. We have table tennis. So it's a whole wide range. So there is something for everyone based on your interests. And obviously, it's not only for the 4 hours you can do. If you can only give an hour, that's absolutely fine. We encourage anyone to give whatever they can, because you don't have to stay for the 4 hours, because that could be a bit too much for you. And then other things that it involves is obviously promoting an inclusive atmosphere, helping organize different games, ensuring that the venue is accessible for all attendees. And to become a volunteer, we have a similar process to Mencap. So we take 2 references. We have a short informal chat just to find out a little bit about the volunteer, what their interests are, and where they might be able to help with us. And then obviously a DBS check as well. So that's how you would get on board. And we've got a short case study. We was hoping Jojo, one of our volunteers, would be able to come, but unfortunately she can't make it. But she has given us a little bit of a quote just to kind of give a bit of an insight about what the Creative Cafes has done for her, not only as a volunteer. So she's helping the people in the cafes, but it's also helped her. So she said, "I've supported the cafe to grow over the last year, which has really boosted my confidence from when I first started. I never thought about volunteering until last year. I would highly recommend it to anyone. And if you could give back and help one person who is lonely or sad just by chatting or doing activities with them, you've made a difference." So volunteering is extremely rewarding, she says, for her, and giving back she gets enjoyment from giving back. So it just shows that you aren't only just helping people, but you can also help yourself by volunteering. But that's pretty much it from me.
Thanks so much, Jeremy. That's such a good point, isn't it? How much some people enjoy. People often volunteer. I'm a volunteer as well, so I say we. For passion or wanting to give back or wanting to make a difference. So many people that we talk to say, I get more from it than I give, and it's just such a pleasure. And it should be a pleasure as well, because that's what it's about, isn't it? Connecting with people, and you want to do it and not feel like it's a duty. I think that's important as well. I just wanted to really quickly pick up on something that a couple of you have mentioned DBS in passing, because it might not be something that volunteers know about. And when people mention DBS, they're talking about the disclosure barring service, and it's a check that it's basically a check of your criminal record. So it's not always required for volunteering at all, but it's just that if you're working with children or with vulnerable people, obviously that some checks need to be made that there are restrictions around who can work in those roles, and so some organisations will need for good reason to make those kind of checks, but it's not always required for all club activity helper roles. It really just depends on who you're working with. So just wanted to be clear for people who may be listening about that. So thank you very much, Jeremy, for telling us all about creative cafes and how you can volunteer there. And I'm going to pass over now to introduce Sue Williams, who is from First Garden Cities Homes. And Sue's going to tell us about their clubs and activities and how you can volunteer for them. Welcome, Sue.
Welcome, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Sue Williams, the Community Engagement and Partnership Lead for the organisation. We're a charitable housing association, and we provide just over 2,300 affordable properties. But as well as being a landlord, we also deliver lots of community activities and clubs. So one of our projects is Kingfisher Clubs, where people that are lonely or isolated or suffering with memory impairment come for a day of activities and a 2-course lunch and refreshments. We have two clubs in Letchworth, one in Welland Garden and one in Welling Village. Volunteers support by welcoming members, helping them with their coats, supporting them doing activities, serving of refreshments, serving of lunch, clearing away. It's a real fun day because we also have some external people come in and deliver like seated exercise, chair cricket, reminiscence sessions. So it is a lovely day, and we've got a great team of volunteers that support at the clubs, but we're always looking for more volunteers. We've then got our Warm Hearts project. Warm Hearts is a monthly social club that runs to provide a warm space or a cool space. We provide refreshments, soup, a roll and a dessert, and then we have a live entertainment show at the end of the afternoon where some people get up and dance, some people are dancing in their chairs. So again, volunteers come along to help set up, serve the refreshments, serve the soup and the dessert, and there's the option if they want to get up and dance with attendees as well, but that's not compulsory. We've then got our Young at Hearts clubs, which again run once a month for a couple of hours. We've got one in Letchworth and we've got one in Welland Garden. They're for a couple of hours once a month. Again, people come along that want to make friends. They may be lonely at home, want to get out. They come along, we provide refreshments, and again, a live entertainment show. And again, people do get up and dance and sing. It's a real fun afternoon. And then we've got our No Limits Social Club, which is open to all ages in Baldock. It runs at Baldock Community Centre. Again, refreshments, open to all ages. People come along to make friends, get out, and again we have a live entertainment show where again people get up and dance. Volunteers will help with serving of refreshments. People sometimes come by themselves, so if somebody comes by themselves for the first time, we say to a volunteer, "Oh, can you welcome that person?" and they sit and chat to them and just put them at ease for the afternoon. We then have our Boccia and New Age Curling Club that runs on a Monday morning fortnightly in Letchworth. We haven't got no volunteers for this club at the moment, but we are looking for a volunteer that maybe wants to come along, help set up the room, help serve refreshments, and they also get the opportunity to play the Boccia and New Age Curling, which is a real fun morning. All our volunteers have to fill in a very straightforward basic application form. We take 2 character references. They don't have to be employers, and we do a DBS check, which we pay for. Once we get the 2 character references back, you are able to go and try one of the projects while we're waiting for the DBS. So I think I've talked about all the clubs.
Wonderful, Sue. I was struck by what you said about the role of volunteers. I mean, again, it sounds really good fun, the getting up and dancing and everything. But also, yeah, you mentioned that, you know, a volunteer, when somebody comes for the first time, you can then sort of point the volunteer, maybe the club members, the club leader is perhaps busy dealing with the activity in the whole group, can't just go and sit with the individual person, but a volunteer can go and sit with that person and just make sure they feel welcome. And I'm just imagining that might be really the difference between that person feeling confident to come back the next time or not. So, you know, that could be really a critical role that a volunteer plays to make sure that that person does feel included and that they're welcomed, you know, and they get that sense of belonging in the club. And yes, this is a place for me where people like me are comfortable. So I can just imagine that would make a really big difference for someone.
Yeah, definitely. And we do get a lot of people come to the projects for the first time by themselves, not knowing anyone. And they're like, I'm going to come by myself. And it's fine, come by yourself. You know, I can assure you, you're going to be absolutely fine because we have got some fantastic volunteers. We actually hold Volunteer Appreciation Day once a year for all our volunteers as well, with nice food and entertainment. So our volunteers, even some maybe in Welling Garden or Letchworth, they all get to meet up once a year as well. So, and they've made some great friendships doing volunteer work for us. And some of my volunteers, they started off at one project, and one particular lady, she now volunteers at 4 different projects. And she said it's changed her life. Yeah.
She sounds like a superstar. And you mentioned that some of your clubs are only monthly, which means that you don't have to be committing. Whilst we tend to say, like, for this type of role, it's a regular commitment. It might only be a small commitment, or it could be a bigger commitment as you choose. Like you mentioned, the lady who's doing multiple roles. But sometimes it doesn't have to be every week or every fortnight. It maybe a little bit every month is enough as well. So.
Yeah, we're very flexible, and I always say to my volunteers, if you can't make 1 month or 1 week, it's not a problem. Just let me know. As long as I know, it's absolutely fine. So I'm very flexible. I appreciate any hour that volunteer can do for me.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Sue. Really appreciate you sharing about First Garden Cities Homes and all the amazing clubs that you have. So next up, we're going to hear from Hertfordshire Football Association and some quite different roles. So that's going to be interesting. And we've got Danielle Evans and also Will Hungerford here from Hertfordshire Football Association. So I'm going to hand over to you.
Thanks, Emily. Just in the process of sharing my screen, so bear with me for a moment. It's a bit laggy this morning. Here we go. Perfect. So hopefully you can see my screen. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for taking your time to join us this afternoon. Really appreciate it. Just to give you a little bit of context, so I'm the Coach Development Officer for Hertfordshire FA. Hertfordshire FA is a not-for-profit organisation, and we're the governing body for football across Hertfordshire. Just in terms of number of players, clubs, etc., you'll be able to see on the screen. We obviously provide a service for a lot of people playing football, and that is down to our club structure. Specifically today, we're going to be talking about number of coaches. So we've already got over 6,000 coaches volunteering across Hertfordshire, but we do need more. So extra coaches needed at the moment where we stand is 266. And you can just see from the diagram on the right-hand side, that just shows you where our clubs are across the county. So there's a real widespread. So wherever you're based within Hertfordshire, there should be a club near you which you can go and support. So just in terms of the role of a volunteer coach, so I've included some key responsibilities, but essentially it's about player development. So most of the time, the opportunity will be working with young players, so children under 18s, and essentially it's their development that's at the heart of what we do in terms of coaching. But there are matchday duties, there are training duties weekly, and there are sort of safeguarding and welfare responsibilities that go with that, and communication and administration as well. So the role of the coach tends to be a weekly commitment, and that may be 1 to 2 hours per week, depending on the club and how they train. Or it might be a Saturday morning training. And if the team is affiliated, then they'll probably play league fixtures, which will take place at a weekend, so either a Saturday or Sunday. So it's normally a midweek in the evening, and then a Saturday and Sunday commitment as well. But essentially, the skills and attributes that are required are there. So enthusiasm, reliability and commitment, and that positive communication and interpersonal skills. And what I love is about the ability to create fun and inclusive sessions for our players that are safe and have the player at heart. So we've got a few vacancies already on GoVol, and they'll vary from coach, head coach, assistant coach to maybe a chairperson of a league to a secretary for a club. But essentially, we're talking about the coach today. For those that maybe don't want that kind of heavy commitment of weekly training sessions and match days, we do have other programs as well. So we have Wildcats, which is aimed at girls 5 to 11 years olds, Squad Girls Football, so again aimed at girls 12 to 14, and Comets, which is aged 5 to 11 and aimed at disability football. And they're again also in a club landscape, and they will tend to just be weekly sessions, but there'll probably be a few volunteers where you can kind of jump in and jump out depending on who else is involved. Similarly to the other organisations, so the clubs will have a recruitment process that is part of best practice that the FA provides. So it may be references, and it will be potentially be an interview or a CV or some sort of informal chat, but a DBS will also be required as well. The beauty of volunteering in football is that you can also upskill yourself, so you can gain qualifications, which are really important and can add to your CV and help you in various other employability roles. And the clubs will potentially fund that or pay part towards it, but also the FA have lots of initiatives to support with funding, particularly aimed at underrepresented coaches, so female coaches and coaches from an underrepresented, ethnically diverse background. And then just to kind of close, we've got an event coming up for 16 to 25-year-olds in Feb half term, but we also have a section around volunteering for those that don't fall in that age gap, or age bracket rather, where you can find out a little bit more, and I'm sure they'll be included in the notes for the YouTube. So that's everything from me. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to.
Brilliant, thank you, Danielle. And if somebody isn't already qualified as a coach, are you open to people getting involved as sort of helpers and sort of starting that coaching journey with your clubs?
Yeah, 100%. So a lot of our coaches start off with no qualifications. So they might be a parent, they might be an auntie or uncle or a sibling even, or completely new. That's how I started out. I was just new to football, didn't have any relative. And the FA provide what we call a Playmaker course, which is a free online course. And you can dip in and dip out of it at any point, but that's a really good starting point. And that will look great in terms of your commitment to the club as well. So you can go to a club and say, look, I've already got my Playmaker, and then they'll help with further courses down the line as well.
Interesting. So, you know, I think the roles, if they're advertised and you kind of need a coach, then possibly you might say we're looking for somebody who's already got the qualification. But if people haven't got the qualification yet, and so they don't see a role that says for an unqualified person, it sounds like what you're saying is you could still to get in touch and find out, because there will be probably a club that's willing to, you know, involve you at an unqualified level and support you, point you where to go and take you on that journey towards becoming a qualified coach, so that you'll be able to take up those kind of more advanced leadership opportunities, which sound brilliant. And also from a personal perspective point of view, I think you've pointed out there where actually taking on this volunteer role, you can really gain some new skills for yourself as well, which sounds amazing.
Yeah, I mean, just briefly, sorry. So I started as a volunteer. I've now got a career in football. So yeah, the possibilities are endless, really, in terms of the sport, and it's only getting bigger. So yeah, get involved if you fancy it.
Wonderful. And I liked what you said as well about that inclusion side of things, that you're specifically looking for people from underrepresented groups to get involved. So there's actually even more of a sort of outreach to say, hey, you know, we don't have so many people who are like you involved, and we'd really like to have more, and we'll support you on that journey. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Danielle. That's fabulous. So last but absolutely not least, we have Watford and Three Rivers Trust with us today, and they're going to talk to us about their Getting Together social clubs. So I'm going to hand over to Holly, and we also have Holly James, and we also have a volunteer from the club, Penny, who's going to talk after Holly has given us a general introduction. Thank you.
Everybody, thank you for joining today. I'm Holly. I work for Watford and Three Rivers Trust. Watford Three Rivers Trust is a charity organisation that supports older adults in the community. We've got many different services in which we support the older adults, and our social clubs being one of them. We have 7 social clubs across the Watford and Three Rivers area. So we've got 2 in Croxley, we've got 1 in Maple Cross, we've got 1 in Abbots Langley, we've got 2 at the Holywell and 1 in Central Watford. They run every single week. They run, some of them are 2 hours, some of them are 3 hours. Some have volunteers in there to help out and some don't. So the role of a sort of club helper would be to support the facilitator. So there'll always be a member of staff there at the club. So to support the facilitator in setting up, making teas and coffees, maybe helping some of the members with some of the activities. Every club is a little bit different as it's member led and it's what the members want in that club. So there'll always be a form of exercise. We work in partnership with a company called Apex that come in and they do some exercise for the adults. We also have curling, we have soft archery, any form of exercise really. Our facilitators are all chair-based exercise trained as well. So in terms of activities as well, we do quizzes, we do trivias, we have talkers that come in to give valuable information to our members. And alongside the clubs, we also do trips and events. So we do 4 large events every year, and we do a trip or an additional smaller event every other month. So volunteers will be invited to those either to help out or to just come along as a thank you for all of their hard work. We do have events for our volunteers as well. So we've got a Christmas event coming up just to say thank you to all of our volunteers. In terms of the club trips, it can range from anywhere between sort of 30 people going on a trip to about 100 people. In the summer we took, I think it was 97 of our members down to Eastbourne for the day. We've been to all the museums in London. We've been to the Van Hayk Garden Centre. They've actually just gone back there today because they've done it all up for Christmas. So just shy of 30 people have just gone down there today. And yeah, the clubs are really good fun. For the volunteers, it is a sort of, each club runs at the same time on the same day in the same place every week. So it would be a weekly commitment. However, if they're not able to come on a certain occasion, that is absolutely fine as long as we know. Similarly to sort of what everybody else has said, we do have an application process in that we would ask for a form of photograph ID, 2 references, and then we would carry out a DBS check after a short chat with that person, just so that we can explain to them how the clubs work, and if they've got any questions they can then ask us as well. So yeah, I think that's the clubs really. If anybody's got any questions, or I can hand over to Penny.
I don't think we've got any questions at the moment, so yeah, be lovely to hear from Penny. And I met Penny on Friday because I came along to the club at Halsey. So please, Penny, do share about your experiences as a volunteer.
Yes, well, I've been volunteering with the Getting Together Club since their inception, so that's quite a long time. I volunteer on a Friday. Our club runs from 12 till 2. And my role is to go and help the facilitator set it up. And then, of course, the teas and coffees, which are important to the members. Then I socialise with them. I even get a chance to do the chair-based exercises, which is good. We either do crafts, depending on what the members want, quizzes, as Holly said, and bingo, which is very important, I must say. They're very, very fond of bingo. We also occasionally go out for lunch, either to a local pub. Next week, we're going to another pub for a Christmas lunch, and we do trips. We're going to the pantomime as a group in 10 days' time at Watford Palace. It gives you a sense of purpose because when you retire, I think sometimes time tends to hang heavy, And I needed something that gave me a reason to go out sometimes, because you can get, especially at this time of year, so you commit to those 2 hours, 3 hours by the time you've set up, and you clear up at the end of the afternoon. But you also get so much from it. I like to think I get more than I possibly give, because the members are so supportive of you and grateful for what you do. I don't know what else I would be doing with my time if I wasn't doing that. I think my husband would think I'd be spending money, which I think he's very grateful that I've got something to use my time for. But I would recommend it to anyone.
Thank you so much, Penny. It's wonderful that you could join us today to share from that personal perspective. You know, if you've been involved in it for many years, as you say, and it does sound as if your club is very busy and very active. And as I say, I saw them in action on Friday, and there was a lot of laughter and a lot of interaction, and you could see how important. We talked to some people because we were doing a little bit of filming there actually, and yeah, we could really see how important it was for a central part of people's week, and how vital it was, and the vital role that you play there. So lovely. So I would like to thank all 5 organisations and all of our speakers who've joined us today. You've given us a really great insight into a variety of the roles, and as I mentioned, there are many others. We'll come on a little bit into how to get involved in a moment, but I just wanted to open up if we did have any questions for the organisations from people who are present here today. And if we don't, that's absolutely fine. We're happy. We'll be very
questions in the chat. So
okay. Lovely. We'll be very happy to pass on any questions that we receive afterwards. We, as mentioned, we will be sharing links we have shared in the chat, and we will be sharing on the YouTube recording so that you can get in touch with these organisations directly if you have any questions. You know, we're more than happy to help you get in touch. So I want to thank everybody for joining. And as I said at the start, you know, these are 5 different types of role, 5 different organisations with a variety of different types of roles, but there are many more other charities who are running group activities, you know, services, outreach services perhaps. Sometimes they might have a one-to-one befriending scheme, but they also have a group scheme where they need volunteers, or all sorts of different charities doing different things. If you're interested in this kind of role with one of these charities, obviously get in touch with them direct, and we're sharing with you the details of how to do that. Feel absolutely free to ask any questions, and don't feel it's a commitment by getting in touch. But also, if you just want to browse and find out more about a range of opportunities of a similar nature, feel free to contact your volunteers at your local volunteer centre, or to have a browse on Go for Hearts, where we have a huge range of different opportunities. So we'll share the details again in the captions and the chat so that you can find out more. So I'd really like to thank everybody very much for joining us today. It's been really lovely to spend this time with you. I want to reiterate what's been said about the enormous impact of doing this kind of volunteering, the huge difference that you make, and also the kind of joy and pleasure that it brings as well. And we really hope that you've now been inspired to get involved. So do contact us at the links, and we look forward to hearing from you and getting you linked up with a local charity. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, and have a great day.